Today, we're excited to have Matt McChesney joining us. Matt is a former NFL player and spent time playing with the Rams, the Jets, the Dolphins, and the Broncos. But most importantly, he's a proud University of Colorado alumni, continuing his legacy as a force in the world of sports media with his own platform boosting over 48,000 followers on Instagram and a popular podcast called 0260. We're excited to pick his brain on the current state of CU football. But first, welcome in, Buffs fans, and thanks for listening to Buffs Banter. I'm your host, Dean Frank, and I'm here joined with my co-host, Oscar Gonzalez-Moore. Make sure to follow us on your favorite platforms. Join the Stampede as we bring daily content covering anything and everything around the CU football team. Matt, how's it going, man? Thanks for hopping on.
It's going good, man. Happy Thursday to everybody. Today is pretty much hump day for football players. So you get through today, and it's all downhill to the game.
There you go. I know it's always like early on in the week. It's always like a couple days, Monday, Tuesday, I guess, just reacting to that Nebraska game. But it is a new week now. We got the Rams. It is actually a little bro week, like we were just talking about. Last week was rivalry week, but this is a little different because there's a lot of hate going on here. I mean, it's the Rocky Mountain Showdown, and we do not like the Rams.
Yeah, look, the amount of respect I have for Nebraska is not duplicated this week. Like, I have a lot of friends that went to CSU that I played against back in the day that we just played together in the NFL, and we've just known each other, so there's mutual respect there. But my disdain for the logo and the fan base and the attitude and just the way that they are, it's high. So, I mean, they just can't stop talking shit. They did this last year with the sunglasses and talking shit about Deion's family. And now they're talking about murdering people. we should have murdered these guys. And this is coming, you got to understand, this is coming from two guys. Keep in mind, everyone, Horton and Fowler Nicolosi, turned down $600,000 fucking dollars each to leave Colorado State to stay for this. So that should tell you the intelligence level of the two guys that they put up there to talk about the rivalry. So I'm sure that Jay Norvell, who already called his own program the Little Step Brothers, I'm sure that they love that in Fort Collins. But this is keep talking. And what I always call it is they ba-ba. I mean, it's not Ram week, bro. This is sheep week. We're playing the sheep. They run that little fucking sheep out that they follow. You know, it's nice and cute. And they just can't help themselves. So, yeah, this is going to be very interesting on Saturday night.
Matt, you played with Colorado between 2000 and 2004. You've kicked Colorado State's ass a couple times. You've kicked Nebraska's ass a couple times. Does any of these rivalries stand out to you? Do you hate one team more than another? Because for us, I think our generation, Colorado State has definitely become more of a rivalry for us, especially last year with all the Blackburn, Travis Hunter stuff. But for you, does a team resonate with you as more of a rivalry?
Well, yeah, of course they're a rival, but they're number two. I mean, it's Nebraska's always going to be the main rival for Colorado just because we played them for conference titles and conference dominance for 100 years. So, you know, that's an old Big 8 rival. Colorado State became an annoyance under Sonny Lubick, and I lost to him twice in college. I mean, in 2000, we lost to them. They beat us in 99 when I was a senior in high school. And then in 02, you know, Van Pelt spiked the ball off Rod's head, and they beat us there too. So Sonny Lubick's teams up in Fort Collins were a big-time pain in the ass. They were loaded with NFL talent. He recruited the shit out of guys that Colorado didn't recruit, especially in the state of Colorado, which Colorado State, if you want to get back to your roots, recruit the state of Colorado. Mount Vista, where my son plays and I coach. Austin Majeski is the 5A player of the year at quarterback, and they don't even look at him. So, like, that should tell you the intelligence level in Fort Collins. They don't go after players in the state that they should be recruiting, and they've done it for years. So, and the only thing they block is me on Twitter, which is pretty fucking funny considering I work with all the players in the state, and we're sending like 15 guys up to the game this weekend. Look, Nebraska will always be the main rival for me, but Colorado State is definitely a rival. There's no doubt about that. but they're our little brother, and this is their Super Bowl every year. And again, they always find a way to fuck this up. They always do. So, in 2003 in the Lightning game, they screwed it up. In 04, that we stopped them on the goal line, they screwed it up. In 05, Mason hit like a 58-yard field goal to beat them. They screwed it up. They always find a way to screw it up. So last year they screwed it up. They don't know how to finish. So this is a common problem in Fort Collins is finishing. And until they learn how to finish, they're going to have a problem with Colorado.
Yeah, we saw, last year was a double overtime thriller. Obviously, it was super entertaining. We didn't really think it would be that close. This year, we go into this game being 7-point favorites. But at what point is this a must win for Colorado?
It is 100% a must win. All right. Allow me to just be blunt. If they find a way to fuck this up and lose this game in Fort Collins, the amount of hate and the season's not over. They start the conference schedule next week. So to act like you can't go 1-2 in the non-conference and then make a run in your conference is ridiculous. People do it all the time. But from a national perspective, from just a vision perspective, with all the media outlets, every single hater in the world is going to pile on, and they all want CU to lose too. And you know what? If they don't figure their shit out on offense and figure out how to run the ball and actually like power and gap scheme and run counter and run trap and run screen passes that aren't just outside to the receivers and actually learn how to protect the passer and actually go under center a little bit and move the pocket. If the offensive coordinator who was an offensive coordinator for 30 years in the NFL doesn't start acting like an NFL offensive coordinator, this is going to be a disaster because I don't care who you are. If they know all you can do is throw the ball and go 5 wide, you better get rid of that shit real quick. Because if we're going to be Texas Tech under Mike Leach, that's fine, but that means we got to throw the ball 60 times a game, and it's got to be out like this so they don't hit your quarterback. So I don't care what offensive lineman you are. I played D-line my whole life in college, and most of my career in the NFL was on the offensive side of the ball. And there's nothing worse than trying to block defensive linemen when they know you're throwing the football.
Yeah, and you kind of talked about it. Obviously, you played in the trenches in the NFL at the highest level and in Colorado as well. And a big talking point we have with this team is this O-line. What can be fixed? It seems like last year we have a whole new team from last year, but this past game, and we saw the same exact struggles from last year. So I know like Tyler Brown wants to play, like should that be switched up? Like what can be better with this O-line so that going forward we don't hear every single week like Shedeur has no protection?
Well, look, the scheme is the problem, not the players. You have to support the offensive game plan with motion and formation packages that are different and different personnel packages on the field every play, and making it hard on the defense. So they have to you've got a helmet, microphone now. So the same way that they're saying like, oh, well, the defense moves after 15 seconds, change the fucking play. You have 15 seconds. So, that we need to start acting. If Shedeur is the number 1 pick and we have a professional offensive coordinator and Travis Hunter is what we think he is and Jimmy Horn's a pro and Jordan Seaton's a pro and all these other guys are pros, we need to start acting like pros. That's what we need to do. So the offensive line needs to be supported. We need to max protect and move the pocket. We never sprint out. We never bootleg, and we have an athletic quarterback. That allows the offense to also run the ball better because the defense is in chase mode. You run a couple bootlegs or sprint outs, and they're behind the receivers, and you get a first down. The next time you run zone, they have to think about, is this zone or is this, bootleg or sprint? So you want the defense to think as much as the offense is thinking. So if they're confusing you with different looks, change a play where the numbers aren't. If there's 4 defenders on 3 receivers, the backside guy's 1-on-1. There's only 11 guys on the field. So that also should help with pass protection. But again, if you've changed the way that we run the offense so it's not just all on Shedeur. I don't know how many times I've said this shit, but Mark John, or I think his name's Mark Jones, is the guy who did the CU North Dakota State game in Boulder for ESPN. And he like quoted me in the middle of the game saying, Shador doesn't have to do everything. He can do anything. And I truly believe that. But right now we're asking him to do everything again. And, it's the head coach isn't just the head coach. That's his son. So if he's going to continue to get hit like that, he's not going to be the first pick of the draft. He's going to go in the 4th round to fucking Jacksonville and sit behind whoever and then like float around the league, and it's not going to be what they want. So if they want this to be truly the last dance of the Sanders family here in Boulder, because it's the last time they're all going to be together, and if Coach Prime wants to keep the party going and get recruits, you better figure this shit out quick. And that's why they get paid big bucks. So again, I'm sure that there's going to be a whole bunch of prime sexuals that are angry at me for the way I'm talking. I don't give a fuck how you feel anymore. I care about winning football games. And I've got Deion Sanders Jr. on my show every week. I talk to Coach Prime way more than y'all. So not you, but them. And it's almost like there's 2 different sets of fans, man. There's people who love Colorado because of Colorado, and they're just, fucking stoked that Coach Prime's the coach. And then there's Coach Prime fans who just like Colorado because of Coach Prime. And if you're saying anything about the program, they go in on you. And you have to understand that if you can't criticize what you love, you don't love that shit, because it's never going to get any better if we don't just attack the problem. If we keep approaching everything with emotions and feelings, people are going to shit stomp the fuck out of us.
On that note of shit stomping the fuck out of us, Matt, you have a very commanding voice, and I think that's something we saw the team missing last game against Nebraska, some internal leadership. I'm curious, have you ever considered, with your connections to Coach Prime, well off Deion Sanders Jr., going in there and just like teaming up with Warren Sapp or the O-line coach and just like showing these guys what's up, or giving them, I'm sure a lot of them probably listen to your podcast too, but just showing up to practice and being like, guys, this is not the Colorado spirit. What the fuck are we doing?
If they want me to come up there and talk to the team, I'd love to get involved. I'll have any conversation they want to have, but they have to initiate it. I mean, I run 3 successful businesses down here, and the show's a success, and I'm not going to walk away from any of that unless there's good reason to, and that would be a good reason. But again, it has to be initiated by CU. So I'm not saying no, but I'm also not saying yes.
So you don't think if Colorado lost this game, blowout to Colorado State, you wouldn't just like walk into the facility and give these guys a piece of your mind?
No, man. Look, this is a different generation, bro. I don't think that this generation is motivated by the same shit. So I went to CU because that's the only place I wanted to play. I got kicked out in the middle of my career. I had to earn my way back. I could have easily transferred, but you didn't have the transfer portal back in the day. So you had to overcome shit and develop, and you came in with the guys you played with. That's why we're all so close. There's Division I football on the Power 4 level at every fucking school. I don't want to hear this just at CU shit. Everyone's a mercenary. Everyone is a mercenary. Everyone can be bought, except for the 2 idiots at Colorado State. Fuck, man, because their stock and their level of earnings have plummeted because they're not really NFL players after the Texas game. I mean, that's the only game they're going to look at, and they lost 52-0. So it's the kids are different, and they're not motivated by the same shit. And I don't know if they get excited by the same thing. And I already work with so many of these guys down at the gym, and I have such a difficult time trying to get through the hobby town fucking atmosphere in Colorado anyway. Everyone thinks I'm too hardcore and I'm too loud, but real football people around the country, they don't think that way in fucking Florida and Texas, where they do this shit every day. So I'm not saying that the kids in Boulder don't care. I'm saying that every single college football player these days doesn't give a shit really about the tradition and the program history. They don't care anymore. They don't care about it at Oregon. They don't really, it's shoved in your face at places because it's so good, the history, but they don't really care about it at Ohio State. They go to Ohio State because they're trying to go to the NFL. They don't give a shit about the history at Florida State. They go there because they want to go to the NFL. This is all about putting together the best package to go get the best players. And I'll say this: people forget that how bad it was under Carl Durrell and after Mel Tucker fucking midnight milled us.
Oh
Because
my
I think
God.
if Mel stayed here and he wouldn't have chased the bag and did all the crazy shit he did, I think he could have done a pretty good job because he recruited his ass off. He has some pretty good players, but Carl Durrell, that was like a nuclear bomb on this program, and I think people forget how bad it was before Coach Prime got here. So, look, we have to play in the era we're in, and this era doesn't really give a shit about history and all that kind of stuff. They care about getting paid and going to the NFL. And if you can figure out a way to rally those guys around a cause for a year, you're doing a pretty good job as a coach.
Yeah, I mean, with the transfer portal and NIL deals, it's just a completely new situation now. I think it's funny because hearing your perspective about it as like an ex-professional player, I'm kind of on the other side. I work with 5430 Alliance, and I'm helping these guys get these NIL and marketing deals. So I think it kind of goes hand in hand. But when we're not winning, there's nothing else at hand. Like when Coach Prime is here to win now, and I do understand like it's like the delusional fans are the ones that are kind of splitting up all these Colorado fans because the real fans know that we just are here to win. And like at this point, we're done with all the hype. We're done with all the narrative that Coach Prime is here. Like now we want to win. So going back to the point, this is most definitely a must win on Saturday.
100%, bro. If CU doesn't beat Colorado State on Saturday, the shitstorm that we're in for, I don't even know how to explain how bad it will be.
Sure. Let's talk about it more from a media side of things, right? Because as we've kind of noticed covering this team this season and this past season, like win or lose, everyone's talking about Colorado football anyways. How has that kind of affected your brand? How have you decided to pivot and like create your own brand of your own? I mean, over 48,000 followers on Instagram. I think you definitely have the credible resources and whatnot. How have you been able to, go through the successes of building a brand, having a podcast, and like what can you kind of tell us as students still like we're here at Boulder, but we're starting to grow and like it just with win or lose, it's like still got to cover the game.
Just keep posting and keep hitting send. I didn't even have social media when I played. I started it, I don't know, right when I started my business, probably 15 years ago. And we just hit 275,000 people on TikTok this morning. And, Instagram has exploded. And it's a combination of the show, but it's more the gym and all the players we work with and the stuff we put out there. And there's a bunch of weirdos out there that just like the hip drills and shit. And that's cool too. I understand it's all entertainment, but look, social media it's the real media now. It's where you go to find real shit. And if you want to listen to corporate radio, I'm done with corporate radio. It's a joke. I was with Altitude for a long time, and they don't care about anything but the ratings and making sure that your opinion doesn't piss off the advertisers. And I already think our political media and our media in general is corrupt as fuck and lies to us. So why wouldn't the sports media also have an agenda, which they do? So I think the internet and, YouTube and Twitch and all these different avenues, especially for you guys starting out young, don't get worried about followers and, mentions and likes and all that shit. Understand, this is another thing. I tell all my kids that I work with, because they have to post their ass off in order to gain leverage to be recruited. And that's the way this works.
Right.
We put 515 kids in college in 15 years. So it's, the method is the madness is what it is. So if you won't post, you don't really want to play. You're trying to Batman this shit. And if you read the comments, you're a fan. So every time you guys go on and you're like, man, these guys don't like us, man, fuck them. Who cares? They're watching your show. Who cares if they like you or they don't? They commented. That helps the algorithm. Somebody else will comment, even if they're like, fuck these guys. Their show sucks. Who's this big asshole talking? It doesn't matter. They're contributing. So that would be my 2 cents on the whole, social media thing. But yeah, of course, Coach Prime has helped everybody. People are interested in Colorado football, even if it's hate. And that's what happens. I mean, you look at Adam Schefter was a beat writer for the Broncos when they won Super Bowls, and now he's Adam Schefter. So That's just the way this game works.
Yeah, no, that I think that's great advice and so real about the media. I didn't even think about it that way, but you're right. Every single media channel has their own type of agenda. Just to wrap things up, Matt, you're going to be at the game. I am as well. Do you have any personal game day rituals that you did as a player or now, I guess, as a spectator?
No, game day was always just kind of focused on my job when I played, and try and listen to some music and get in the zone and just go execute and make sure that you're putting good tape out and we can win a football game, and you're one of the reasons that we win. That was always important to me, and that's there's game day rituals now as a fan. That I don't really have any, man. Just trying to get there on time and find a parking spot and like get my whole crew and all my sons and everybody, organized and moving in the right direction. But my son Nick is getting recruited by all these places, so even CSU sent him an invite to the game, and I'm like, dog, I'm not going with you. You can go. I'll drop you off, and you can go tour the facility, but I'm not going to that fucking place. And last week, Nebraska invited us out, and I toured the whole facility and met with Matt Rule because that's Nebraska. This is Colorado State. They are two different places, okay? And it's two different rivalries. And if Nick can play at CSU, he can play at Utah State or Boise or fucking San Diego State or Washington State or Oregon State. By the way, Colorado State, good job on the Pac-12.
Yeah, I just saw that. They didn't make it, huh?
No, they did make it, didn't they?
So it's Colorado State, San Diego State, Fresno. It's pretty much the whole Mountain West.
But my point is
Midwest.
They didn't get invited to the fucking Pac-12. They got invited to the Washington State, Oregon State shit show with no TV deal. So who else are they going to invite? It's going to be the Pac-6, those 6 schools? Come on. So, look, I'm glad that they're trying to advance the program. I'm sure the Pac-12 deal will be better than the Mountain West deal, maybe. But, yeah, this is a totally different rivalry than Nebraska. So I'm really looking forward to it, man.
Yeah. Again, we appreciate you for having us, for coming on our show, man. I think this year it's going to be a totally different than last year with that double overtime. I'm looking to dominate. I mean, we got to bounce back this week.
So what do you guys think? What's the score? What's your prediction? Or are you doing that tomorrow?
We did it yesterday. Actually, will be posted today. But I think we got.
Don't say it.
Yeah.
If you're gonna don't fucking say it if you're gonna post it today. What kind of shit is that?
Okay.
The prediction is Colorado is gonna kick CSU's fucking ass. We're gonna go in there and dominate at Canvas Stadium. What the hell even is Canvas Stadium?
I think that will canvas. Honestly, I think it's going to be a CU home game because those fucking farmers don't go to games. They never support their team. So it'll be, look, all the CU fans, get in your car and drive north and go support. Don't watch it on your fucking TV.
Yes,
I think they win like 45-20.
Yeah, I hope so. Because if not, well, I mean, going into Baylor and UCF is going to be a lot different 2-1 than 1-2. I'll tell you that.
Bro, if they go into Baylor 1-2 and you want to talk about must win, fuck.
Yeah.
They've got to hit the bye week before Kansas State at worst 3-2, splitting the first 2 Big 12 games. Because I think the UCF game is going to be pretty tough, and the Kansas State game after the bye week is the game of the year if they can put themselves in position to be in that position.
Right. Right. Well, we appreciate you, Matt. This was awesome. Shout out to Blee for connecting us. But yeah, best of luck with everything, and we respect everything you're doing.
Go Buffs, boys. Thanks.
Thanks, Matt.
Later.